Hey everyone, this episode of the Chalkboard Podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial when you visit audibletrial.com/chalkboard. Hey everyone, welcome to the Chalkboard. We are coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri. My name is Eric Milner, and this episode we are going to continue on with our Movies with Friends series and talk about The Shape of Water. And I have a very special guest tonight. I first met Micah Conkling in 6th grade. Not a lot of people know this, but I was sent to a private school because I was less than a motivated student. Micah and I were mortal enemies when we first met. He was a Foursquare tyrant, and I was certain that we would never get along. That same year, though, our teacher forced Micah and I to be partners on a science project. It was there that our friendship started. We've been best friends basically ever since. We've lived together twice, watched the whole series of Friday Night Lights together, and he's going to be the best man at my wedding. Micah is the co-host of the Chalkboard Podcast and the perfect person to talk about The Shape of Water with. So, with all of that said, let's dive into my conversation with my best friend Micah. Ladies and gentlemen, Micah Conkling is back.
I'm back, and I need to set the record straight about why I haven't been here for a while.
Set it straight.
Eric put me on forced hiatus because I told him that the Tom Cruise Mummy movie was one of my favorite films of 2017.
I warned you with Suicide Squad that this could happen.
The Tom Cruise Mummy movie, many of you might have seen the trailer for it, and it's very cool. He dies, obviously, in like a plane crash, and then wakes up all of a sudden, and it's like, like comes back to life. The whole movie is that cool. I just got to tell you that. But I told Eric about that take, and he banished me. He said I wasn't pop culturally relevant enough or cool enough to be on this podcast.
You're not allowed to talk Best Picture nominees when you're defending The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise.
But now I'm back. Okay, can I do my second bit I had planned besides the Mummy thing?
Go ahead, do your second bit.
So many of you know that Eric's getting married in June, and I had this thing where I was going to go onto his registry and like make fun of things that he had picked out. But then I searched for his registry on Target.com, and not only is there a Maggie and Eric wedding registry for Kansas City, but there's a Heidi Milner and Eric Milner baby registry in Rockton, Illinois. So all I have to ask Eric is, what have you been doing in Illinois?
There's a reason you're not on this dang podcast anymore.
All the secrets are
coming out. Wait, there's another revealed. Eric Milner?
Yeah.
In Rochester.
Rockton, Illinois.
Oh, Rockton, sorry.
Rockton, Illinois. So,
oh, man. My kin.
Got to look into that.
Got to look into that one.
All right, man. I'll be honest. When you said you want to talk about Shape of Water, I thought we were going to talk about The Shape of You.
What's The Shape of You?
It's an Ed Sheeran song.
That's his like most famous song. I should have known that.
All right, can I read the IMDb entry for Shape of Water?
Yeah, of course you can.
Elisa is a mute, isolated woman who works as a cleaning lady in a hidden, high-security government laboratory in 1962 Baltimore. Her life changes forever when she discovers the lab's classified secret, a mysterious scaled creature from South America that lives in a water tank. As Elisa, or is it Elisa, I don't know, develops a unique bond with her new friend, she soon learns that its fate and very survival lies in the hands of a hostile government agent and a marine biologist.
That's it. That's the movie.
That's it. That's the movie.
Also, it's really crazy that this is a prequel to The Wire.
I almost made the joke.
Shared universe of The Wire.
Flacco!
I like to think that all the Oscar movies are in a shared universe. So this also shares like a Dunkirk universe.
All culture is connected.
All right. Well, hey, Micah, we're going to have to dust off your shoulders a little bit. You've been on the shelf. So we changed up Movies with Friend this year. The way it works, and hopefully you've been listening to the previous episodes so you know.
Yep.
But the way it'll work is we're going to go through just the Best Picture nominees really quickly, get your knee-jerk reaction on what you thought of them, your hot take on them per se. And then we're going to dive into 5 questions about The Shape of Water. And those 5 questions are, why should this film win Best Picture? Why shouldn't it win Best Picture? Who gave the best performance? What was your favorite scene? And last but not least, what was your first thought as the credits rolled? All right, so let's dive into the Best Picture nominees. All right, Micah, I know you got a lot of takes on these, but we got to devote some time to The Shape of Water. So just give me your gut reaction when I talk about these movies winning Best Picture, okay? Let's start with The Post.
Newspaper movie already got nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, Lady Bird.
Love it. Love
That's
it.
all you got, Lady Bird. Love
yeah,
it.
I love it. I
All
love
right.
Sacramento. I flew out of that Sacramento airport one time. It's nice.
All right, Get Out.
The best movie of the year.
Agreed. Dunkirk.
I loved it.
3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
I thought I'd love it more.
Same. Call Me by Your Name.
I have not seen it, but that guy was in. What was that guy in?
Lone Ranger.
No, not Army Hammer.
Social Network.
Timothy Chalamet was in Homeland. So
I actually got to clear some air on this. I've had a couple mix-ups with Timothy Chalamet and a couple other actors. Timothy Chalamet
is not Ansel Elgort.
No,
though they are friends.
Yeah. So anyway, Annie had made like a really good point on our podcast, and then I had discredited it the following week. It turns out Annie was right about Timothy Chalamet, so apologize to Annie. All right, back to it though. Darkest Hour.
Will not see it.
Will not see
and
it.
I make it my burden, my quest every single Oscar season to see every Best Picture nominee.
You're the one who got me to do this.
But I am so not interested in another Winston Churchill period piece that I would just won't see it.
No, I'm in on that. Or I'm in on that take.
Yeah.
Okay, Phantom Thread.
I will watch Daniel Day-Lewis do anything.
I loved Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
I can't. You know how I know we're really good friends though? We hadn't talked about not seeing Darkest Hour, and we both came up with that.
Yeah.
And then also we both really loved Phantom Thread, so I appreciate that we have some overlapping tastes. That
Beautiful.
does bring us to the film of the hour.
Yes.
It's the film of the hour because I finished it less than an hour ago. The Shape of Water.
Eric and I recorded another episode before this one with a guest, and as I walked in to get set up and get a drink and stuff, he was watching a illegal stream of Shape of Water on his computer trying to finish it.
Let's not talk about how I have to see movies. I've got so much time. I'm recording podcasts. I've got a lot going on.
I got wrestling to watch.
I got wrestling to watch. I don't have time to go to a theater.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's talk about Shape of Water. You already read the IMDb description of it.
It's my favorite thing.
It is your favorite thing to do with any movies. So let's just dive into the 5 questions and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Now, it should be said, you don't think this movie should win Best Picture.
I do not. I don't think it should win Best Picture. But your question is kind of a faux argument, right?
Yeah.
Even if I don't think it should, even if I don't think that it should,
I would like you to make the case for
why
it.
it should. Okay.
Yeah. So why do you think this movie should win Best Picture?
In my heart, I love it because it's very earnest. And in this world of cynicism and kind of irony and making jokes of things, I appreciate a movie that is earnest and says, hey, here's a sweet story. We're going to tell it. So the earnestness of it, if it won, I would be kind of happy about that.
You know what I appreciate?
What do you appreciate?
I appreciate your earnestness in answering that question because I think it could have been very easy to tear apart because you didn't like the movie. I think Guillermo del Toro made a movie that he really believed in. It's a simple love story, kind of, between woman and fish. It's so weird to talk about.
So when I came
liked
in,
the movie.
when I came in and you were watching it, I came in pretty hot with I didn't like it. It was terrible. It's overrated. But one thing I don't enjoy is the reductionist. It's a movie about a woman who falls in love with a fish because this amphibious creature is more than a fish.
Yeah, I agree. It's got legs.
Yeah, it's not the Incredible Mr. Limpet.
It's not a big mouth Billy Bass.
It's not.
All right. Well,
Why do you think this film should win Best Picture? Or I want to repose the question to you, even though I'm the guest on this podcast.
No, go ahead.
If it does win Best Picture, why do you think it will have won?
So it's something that I've thought a little bit about because I don't think it should win Best Picture.
I hope you've thought about it because we're doing a podcast.
I know, yeah. I've thought a lot about this in the hour ago that I watched the movie. I liken this movie not to the movie Moneyball, but to the concept of Moneyball almost, where this is just a movie that does movies pretty good. Mm-hmm. So it's a love story that's told very well. It's got a great director who has a certain look, and the look is portrayed very well. The performances are all very strong. And so I think it sort of just covers all the bases, but it's not going for home runs.
Yep.
But I do think that it does everything that a good movie should do. And so with that, I could see why it was at least nominated, and that could be why it wins.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. What would you think if it won? What would your feelings be?
I would wait for someone to say, "Just kidding, they got this wrong. Get Out should win Best Picture."
I want to celebrate with my friends who won Get Out last year.
Yeah,
I don't think that can happen twice.
it better not.
No.
I don't think that I would be. There's definitely Best Picture nominees I would be more mad about winning. Like if Darkest Hour won or The Post won, I would be sort of upset and eye rolly. I think I would be. I think genre movies are fine. Like it's okay to recognize genre movies, and this as a kind of fantasy adventure movie, I would be fine with that. I think I'd be okay with it winning. I wouldn't be excited about it winning, but I would be okay with it winning.
Yeah, I think if it won Best Picture, I wouldn't be upset. But I've said it almost every podcast. Get Out's the movie you're going to remember.
Right.
It's the best movie of the year. So why shouldn't The Shape of Water win?
The Shape of Water should not win. Number one, because Get Out should win.
That doesn't count. You can't say it shouldn't win because another movie should win.
So I have a little formula. I think for a movie to win Best Picture, and when I first came up with this little rule, at first I said for a movie to be nominated for Best Picture, but this is a hard thing to nail. So I think a movie has to do one of three things. I think a movie either has to do something narratively. It's a story told that speaks to our specific context in a very like specific, creative way. It says something new, something interesting about the human experience, or just is narratively incredibly fresh or interesting. I think it has to have a character performance that just drives it incredibly. Like I feel like it has to have like an acting performance or two that is just so spectacular that it drives the movie.
Phantom Thread.
Okay.
For me. No, go ahead.
Or it has to be directed in just a really fantastic, creative way. A la, I was not the most pumped when Birdman won, but I got it, you know.
But isn't there a direction category?
Yeah, but
I'm not trying to poke holes in your theory.
I think
I back you on this.
And that's like, I think
this theory.
most of the time the best director should also, I think if a movie wins Best Picture, it's also probably should win one of those other awards. They should win Best Director or Best Original Screenplay or Adapted Screenplay, or it should win a Best Actor, Actress Supporting Award.
Yeah, and that doesn't always happen.
And in that respect, The Shape of Water shouldn't win because I don't think it really nails that. I think the acting performances are fine. Richard Jenkins, who my favorite role of his will always be the dad in Step Brothers who goes to Cheesecake Factory. Octavia Spencer plays, honestly, kind of a cliche role for her. And
I think she's a way better actress than she was in this movie, if I'm honest.
I couldn't hear Sally Hawkins at all. And that one guy was a fish. I just wasn't super pumped about any of these acting performances. I think Guillermo del Toro's just done this before. I don't think it's something like super unique. He made a monster movie, fine. And
He always makes monster movies.
Yeah. It doesn't hit any of those three categories for me. So
do you like Shape of Water better than you liked Pacific Rim?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's
Pacific
that's a
Rim
serious question. I'm not
had Idris Elba in it, so
automatically gets 10 points.
Gets dumped, but I enjoyed. I tell you what, I made that mummy joke earlier, but I am more and more just kind of going in on things that I enjoy. When people ask me what my favorite movie of the last 10 years is, do you know what I tell them? My favorite movie of the last 10 years. No, come on. What do you think I say? Last 10 years.
Favorite movie of the last 10 years.
Yep. That leaves 2007 out of it.
I was going to say, yeah, because that makes it tricky. I don't know. What's your favorite movie?
Creed.
Creed.
Unabashedly, I'm going to say Creed. I just loved Creed.
You did love Creed. I'm a little taken aback by this because you are a movie guy. You see a lot of movies.
Yeah.
You get excited for the Oscars every year.
Yep.
I think it does sort of bring up the point that we've talked about a little bit in previous podcasts where it is the Best Picture nominees are sort of their own genre of film.
Yeah.
And that's why it's kind of exciting that Get Out got in there because it doesn't really fit that genre. Mm-hmm. And I hope it wins because it was my favorite movie of the year, but I don't have the highest of hopes.
Okay.
All right. So the next question is, who gave the best performance in the movie? Not Octavia Spencer for you.
Not Octavia Spencer for me.
Or me.
Not Doug Jones as the amphibian man. Man. I kind of want to say Nick Searcy, who played General Hoyt, just because he was my favorite character in Justified.
Yes.
But I I think Sally Hawkins was fine as Eliza Esposito.
I thought she was great.
Yeah.
I thought she was so good. The way she communicated, obviously other than the sign language, but
Right.
the way she portrayed that character, there was so much emotion happening and just the way she was moving. And I thought about like the dance scene in the very beginning with her and how she was moving her feet, watching the tap dance.
Yeah.
And it was just really beautiful. Like every time she was on the screen, I felt like they gave her an opportunity to make you like be endeared to her, and she just crushed it.
Okay.
But my favorite performance, because I like a heel, Michael Shannon was the worst.
He was the worst.
And he did it
It's a
really
pretty
well.
good villain.
With Michael Shannon, I have this I have like a standard that I hold him against and to see if he's done well in it. So he plays a lot of different characters, but I always look back to the movie
Zod.
Mud. He did play
Batman vs
Zod.
Superman, Dawn of Justice, Zod.
Of course you would bring up Zod. So did you ever see Mud?
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey?
He is,
Of course I
yeah.
did.
What's the best friend's name in that movie? It's like Bone Skull or something.
Sure.
It's something like that. He's that kid's older brother who looks after him, or uncle or whatever, and he's just kind of like a boat bum
bone.
kind of guy, neck bone.
Yeah.
I called him ham bone. I can't remember what I called him, but anyway,
Hambone and Flippy.
yeah, I don't know what that is.
Old Jack Handy joke.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
well
sorry.
done.
Yep.
But anyway, Michael Shannon is this total like he dives under lakes to like find treasure and is just a bit of aloof and sleeping around and somehow has to watch over this kid. And then you look at him in something like this or Boardwalk Empire, like, man, that guy has range.
Yeah.
think
He's doing
my-
a lot. He's doing a lot right now because he's also in the Taylor Kitsch
The Waco
cult
show.
thing, the Waco show.
Oh,
So-
I like that show.
which I really hope Waco just goes all in and ends with, instead of the Branch Davidians dying, I hope that they just take down Chip and Joanna Gaines. Like they time travel and take down Chip and Joanna Gaines.
You haven't missed a beat, my friend. You're
I
back.
haven't. All right, can I read this Jack Handy, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy joke to you?
Yeah, go
If you saw two guys named Hambone and Flippy, which one would you think liked dolphins the most? I'd say Flippy, wouldn't you? You'd be wrong though. It's Hambone. All right, what's your next question?
Oh
What's your
my
next
God,
question?
I love
I got a
that.
Tangerine LaCroix. I'm ready to go.
He's ready to go. All right. So, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
I mean, there's only one, and it's their scene of love and passion in the bathroom.
Yeah, where they fill the bathroom up and it's dripping. And yeah.
Yeah, they basically we were out to dinner with some friends, and my friend Caroline was talking about when they saw this movie that it reminded her of like something you thought you'd be able to do as a kid, of like fill your room up with bath water, of like putting all the towels underneath the door and like filling it up with bath water. But it was shot beautifully, and it's the kind of stuff that you like want Guillermo del Toro to do, and he does it pretty masterfully.
Yeah, that's in his wheelhouse for sure. It's a very beautiful scene. And one thing I like about Guillermo del Toro as the director, and talking about just the different scenes in the movie, including that one, he's not afraid to be gross, but also in the same breath be able to be beautiful. So I think about when the cockroach runs across the floor at Octavia Spencer's house, when the fish man is eating the cat.
Yeah,
That was
sick.
messed up. But in that scene in particular, the one we're talking about, the very beautiful scene where they fill the bathroom, not bathtub, bathroom, up with water,
Yep.
and they dance and make love in the water room.
Yes.
It pans down to the floor, and you follow drips of water falling into a guy's mouth who's sleeping in the theater below, and it's a very gross shot. And but like, it's at the same time like, oh, this is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's also cool. And if you're gonna have a movie about an amphibious South American creature, like you've got to do something weird like that. And I like that Guillermo del Toro tries to be weird.
Yeah, he makes you uncomfortable, but he also makes you very endeared, as I've mentioned before.
Yep.
So credits roll. What was your first thought when the movie was over?
I don't want to spoil it, and I know that's weird because I feel like most people who are going to listen to this podcast have seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spoil it. But my first thought was it is an earnest ending, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair. It kind of goes back to why you think it should win, and so I would hope that would stick with you afterward.
Not really why I think it should win, but why.
Sorry,
it could,
why
why
your
it could win.
argument, your
Yeah.
argument
Why it
on
could
why
win.
you think it could win. Maybe I should have rephrased that question. I like that.
Yeah. You need me.
Yeah, I thought the ending was very great. Man, it's a bummer we're not going to spoil it, so I just have to say, oh, it was great. But I thought it fit the movie very well. It fit the tone. It fit what you thought was going to happen. I just think it ended the way the movie should have ended, especially when you go back. Guillermo del Toro makes fairy tales, and you can see that throughout this whole movie. Go back to the black and white scene where she's sort of in this dreamlike sequence and everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That makes me think about La La Land, right? Because there's that montage in La La Land, and La La Land does not end in the way that a typical or traditional love story might end with them.
No,
together.
and we've talked about La La Land in the past because it's such a controversial movie, which is so funny for how boring it was. But got him.
It's
that is my take for real. But
it is boring. La La Land is boring.
Yeah, I don't like it. But the best part about La La Land to me was the ending because it actually said something different.
Yeah.
I really appreciated the ending of that movie, even though I didn't like it. And I was glad that the Oscar was reversed. That can never happen again, right?
It'll never happen again. No.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, 2017 is the...
Okay, if something crazy were to happen at the 2018 Oscars, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Are we talking like Ellen pizza selfie here or...
More like the Moonlight Fiasco.
Okay. I think Meryl Streep just goes full heel.
Oh, just full-on MAGA hat?
Yeah. No, not like that. I just think she always win or lose, and most of the time she's winning. She's so graceful, but I think she just goes full heel, and when she doesn't win, because I think she's nominated for the post, right?
Yes.
I think she just goes full heel and is angry.
Well, what's funny is if you ask my family, she's always like that.
Oh, gosh.
They don't like her very much. Keep politics out of Hollywood, Micah. That's what I say.
Thanks, Eric.
I'm sorry. I couldn't avoid it. Oh, man.
All right, before we jump into the rest of our podcast, I want to talk to you guys about Audible.com.
I can't believe a guest is doing the read.
You can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/chalkboard. I might check out the new Jonathan Abrams book, All the Pieces Matter, which is his oral history of The Wire. But if that's not for you, there are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So go to audibletrial.com/chalkboard.
I heard in that book it starts with the end of Shape of Water and goes right into The Wire.
That's perfect.
That's what I heard.
Baltimore, man.
Hey, Micah, I know that we were sitting here talking about Shape of Water, but I know you saw 3 Billboards, and I really want to talk to you about it. So let's run those 5 questions back.
Yeah, I have seen 3 Billboards. I've also seen the movie 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call it 3 Billboards because it takes a little bit of time to say. But you saw 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, starring Frances McDormand.
McDormand, yeah.
McDormand. Man, see, the proper nouns get me. They do. I'm not wrong. Let's run these 5 questions back.
Can I first read the IMDb summary of the movie?
Only if you bring up the director and the stars as well.
Okay, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, nominated for Best Picture. Genre, crime. A mother personally challenges the local authorities to solve her daughter's murder when they fail to catch the culprit. It is a screenplay written by Martin McDonough. It's got Frances McDormand. It's got Caleb Landry Jones. It's got Sam Rockwell. It's got your man, Woody Harrelson. I said Ed Harris. Woody Harrelson. So let's run through your 5 questions, man.
Let's run it.
You're the interviewer. I'm just me.
You're just the guest who reads ads.
Yep.
I love it. All right, so let's start with the first one. Why should 3 Billboards win Best Picture?
That's a hard one. I think when it first came out, it got a ton of buzz. I think people really thought that it probably would win Best Picture, was going to win Best Picture. I think if 3 Billboards wins Best Picture, it is going to be because of the screenplay and it just being an original story that Martin McDonough came up with. I think it is very novelistic and doesn't necessarily rely on a genre. It's very much a traditional Oscar.
What do you mean by novelistic?
Like it's something I could read in a novel. No, it just follows. It's literary in terms of it has a clear story that it wants to tell, uses characters to tell the story. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, and I think
clear conflict.
I was trying to find a way to describe this movie and why I don't particularly love it as a movie, and because it's novelistic is exactly what I couldn't come up with. So I'm not trying to take your positive and turn to a negative, but I think about when they're on the date scene in the restaurant and the whole drama with Frances McDormand's ex-husband.
Yeah.
It just felt unnecessary. I thought there was like a little bit of fat in this movie, and it dove into parts of the story and the characters that I didn't care about, and then skimmed over the stuff that I thought would really make it a great movie.
So this is your answer to why you think this movie should win Best Picture?
No. I just you had a thing, and I wanted to follow
Okay.
it because you had the comment dead on. I'm not answering this question. I'm the interviewer.
Okay,
darn it.
all right. Yeah, and I think, the performances, I think, are really good. There's holes in Frances McDormand's character, maybe a little bit. I know that people have written and have problems with Sam Rockwell's kind of possibly redemptive turn, but
Racist today, not tomorrow.
yeah, that sort of thing. I think what maybe you felt about this movie, and sometimes I think the Oscars like to go for this, is these traditional Oscar movies like Three Billboards aren't much outside of themselves. They're self-contained.
Yeah.
This is the movie. This is what it is. It's why period pieces get nominated and win so many times. It's novelistic. It's just this small kind of story inside of itself that they try to tell really, really well with good dialogue and characters and interesting conflict and kind of this black comedy throughout it.
No, I think that's a very valid point, and I was in the movie until about halfway through when what happens to Woody Harrelson happens, and so that was when I felt like the movie just never really got back on track.
Okay.
But so why don't you think it should win? Since I'm over here tearing it apart, and I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I think it is it's a pretty good movie. It's well made. It's got good acting performances. I think Martin McDonagh wrote a good script. I just personally, while I just said, like, if that's why it wins, not why it should win, but if that's why it wins, I don't like that script anymore. I don't like that story anymore for the Oscars. I would rather them choose movies like Get Out that push the boundaries, make you think outside of the film. Something that's political or something that's challenging.
Shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I really wish Arrival would have won last year, is because I thought it was pretty philosophical and had interesting things to say, not just about aliens, but about humans and our lives and how we wade through memories. So
Yeah, going back to Three Billboards, you talked about like you want movies that maybe be political or outside. I think Three Billboards has the framework to be that with the Sam Rockwell character and with all this stuff, and it just simply misses the beat, and that's okay. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but I think there's a Best Picture movie in the bones of that script, and they didn't really build it.
yeah.
Who do you think gave the best performance in that movie?
I think, man, I want to say Woody Harrelson, but on a dime, I'm going to actually say Sam Rockwell.
Oh,
Yeah, I
disagree.
I think I've got problems maybe with how his character's written, but I think performance-wise, especially the rage that he shows when he goes in and throws that guy out of a building, and when he gets lit on fire, like, and then when he's in the bar and kind of thinks that he's found the murderer, it's pretty good. Sam Rockwell's just a good actor. Even if you have problems with the character, Sam Rockwell's the man.
You just convinced me. I was already like right when you said go disagree, and I was ready to fire back,
Yeah.
and then you really did defend it well. That was good. I still think Woody Harrelson did a better performance, but he was a more likable character, so there's definitely some bias there, I'm sure. What do you think your favorite scene in the movie was?
My favorite scene of Three Billboards. I'm gonna say something. I don't love Frances McDormand.
Whoa.
I don't love Fargo.
She's an American treasure.
Much. Okay, great. I think the scene where she first buys the billboards is awesome. Like when she goes into Caleb Landry Jones's office, the lone like marketing person
Who plays
Ebbing,
the brother
Missouri.
in Get Out.
Yeah. Yep. When she goes in there and buys the billboards, I love the gumption.
Yeah, she sort of bullies him around a little bit in that scene.
Uh-huh.
I think I was really bummed out by Frances McDormand's performance in this. I don't agree with that being my favorite scene. Mm-hmm. I just didn't feel for her, which was a bummer because there's such, an opportunity to have an emotional character. But I thought my favorite scene, man, the scene where, kind of what you're talking about, where Sam Rockwell just rages out, how it's a really long tracking shot and he like walks up the stairs and then goes and beats up that dude. Is a really well done scene, but it's hard to call that my favorite because it's
hard to
so
like
violent.
something like that,
yeah. And then I honestly thought the way they they handled Woody Harrelson committing suicide with the letter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some memorable scenes in there. And as I'm sitting here talking about this movie and saying I don't like it, as I talk about it scene by scene, I'm like, oh man, that was really good.
Oh
that
man,
was really
when
well
he
done.
coughs up blood on Frances McDormand and the way that they look at each other. I love that when we talk about, and this is like one of the reasons why, along with interviews, we wanted to talk about pop culture on this podcast, is because fleshing these ideas out make you think about things.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying that you'd never really felt for Frances McDormand, and I almost wonder if that's part of the brilliance of the script is within the framework of, hey, this woman's daughter was brutally murdered. You expect, because of traditional scripts, you expect
A breakdown and cry scene.
yeah, you expect a breakdown and cry scene and make you feel bad for her. And this woman just has rage, just has anger, which is probably how people might feel.
It's so funny. It's to your point. We're sitting here talking about this movie, and I'm really sour on it. And then as we dive into it, I'm more and more in. The scene that we're talking about where Woody Harrelson coughs up blood on Frances McDormand, and she immediately has sympathy for this guy who she sort of hates.
Yeah.
And it's me like, it's okay. I'm sorry. And they have this mutual sort of respect throughout the whole movie after that point. Mm-hmm. It's really well done. And I love that he wrote her a letter as well as one to his wife. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Their relationship was the strongest part of the movie to me. And so I think that actually may be my favorite scene, is the scene where two enemies sort of are able to find common ground as people.
Yep.
We need more of that.
We do need more of that. What's your next question, man?
My next question is, so credits roll, what were your first?
Yeah, I did not love the ending. And I really think if this movie, if it would have stuck a better ending, I think I would be talking about it in a much more glowing light.
Yeah, I think if you stick the ending, there's a lot more. You can forgive some of the little things that get you to the ending.
What did you not like about the ending?
Man, the truth is I don't really love revenge stories. Yeah. And I think for a long time the whole movie wasn't about revenge. It was about trying to get closure, and it was about the mom, to me, just wanting to know what happened so she can then put her life back together. Maybe that's what I wanted it to be about. Yeah. But so at the end of the movie, they have a suspect that they can't prove murdered her daughter, and then her and formerly racist, now redeemed Sam Rockwell are going to go kill this guy.
Maybe.
And it's like,
I don't think they kill him.
So they have a conversation and they leave it open to are we going to kill him? But if they do, and it seems like they might, is a redeemed racist better? Like, if he's a murderer, does that make him okay? There's some questions there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it definitely raises some questions.
Yeah.
I can't think of, and that's the hard part, and that's why I'm not Martin McDonough or a screenwriter, but it's hard to say how I would end that movie, but I think there's a better way.
You know what, man? I would have given this movie a C- before our podcast, but I'm going to move that up to a B-. Full letter grade up.
I didn't know we were giving letter grades out.
I haven't done it before in this, but I'm doing it now.
Yep.
I like that just threw you for a loop. Like, I wasn't ready for letter grades.
I wasn't ready to give letter grades.
I didn't know what this was.
I quit teaching. I don't do that anymore.
That's right.
But I'm glad we got a chance to talk about both these movies, man.
I'm glad we got to talk about both these.
Hop back on here, and you guys will be hearing more of me in the future. I'm not going to be. I'm gonna hide my terrible pop culture takes from Eric so he doesn't put me on hiatus.
You're still banned from movies with friends after this.
Okay.
No, Micah, honestly, it was good to have you back. It's just like back in the saddle again. Makes it easy every time you're here, buddy.
Back to the future.
Back to the future. All right. That's it for this week's episode.
If you want to go to the future, you've got to go back in time.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening this week and every week. We really appreciate it. Make sure if you want more of the Chalkboard podcast that you check out our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also check out our website, chalkboardpodcast.com. If you are a regular listener or just love what you heard, make sure to rate, share, and subscribe to this podcast. We really appreciate when that goes on. Our theme song is Killers, written and performed by Salar Ajabnik. You can get his music on Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you stream or download your music. That's it for us this week. We really appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next week.